When my dad would come home from work, my mom would make a big fuss. So she would say, "Daddy's home!" And we would all run to the door and clobber Dad and hold on to his feet. And he would walk and drag us.
One time I was hedging the hedges around the pool, and I cut the extension cord with the electric clipper. I felt bad about it, and it was frustrating because I had to get a new cord and come back. Luckily we had one. Plugged it all in, got my gear on, and then again I wasn't paying attention. I clipped it a second time. I went in and told him, "Sorry, Dad," twice. And he's very patient. It's not what I expected. He wasn't a yeller. He just, you know what, these things happen, and thanks for doing the yard. And I don't know why, I was trying to hit a tennis ball over the house from the street. I was right in front of the house, and this was at 1535 Canyon Meadows Lane. And as you walk into the two big double doors, right above it is a great big window. And they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna clear that." I hit him with this tennis ball, so I threw it up like serve, my best serve, smacked it, and it went straight for that window. Glass everywhere. So I ended up going upstairs, and I hid like under a table somewhere. Of course, Mom knew where I was. I heard Dad's car come. I heard the gate open, so I knew it was coming. And then I heard a little bit of conversation downstairs. Dad, saying, "Hey, Clark." She must have said. I could guess what it was. He just, slowly walked up the stairs, and he, gently opened the door and came over to where I was, and just said, "You know what? In my day, I broke way more windows than you have, so it's okay."
My dad wouldn't really get mad very often, but when he did, it was not a fun experience. It was very unpleasant. There's always work to do in the yard, and if Scott and I were fighting, he would just say, "Oh, I think I hear something calling. What is that? Oh, it's weeds."
Gender equality was alive and well, because girls, boys, we all did yard work. Girls, boys, we all did dishes. We all did kitchen stuff. We all did manual labor equally.
He would give us a blessing at the beginning of each school year, and he took those blessings really seriously. He would fast that whole Sabbath day, and then at the end of the day, he would give us a priesthood blessing, and those were the times that I really felt the closest to my Heavenly Father. Something that I always think about with my dad is that he always encouraged us to participate in sports. That's something that was really important to him growing up, and something that his dad encouraged him to do as well. But he really saw something in each of us that we didn't necessarily see in ourselves. He always pushed us to be our very best. He kind of encouraged me in middle school to do the most push-ups in the grade to kind of set the new record. And I ended up getting the record for Goddard in 7th grade with 100 push-ups. And I remember transitioning from one sport to another, from gymnastics to cross country, and he just told me, Tori, you can be great in this sport, and he saw that in me.
And I have memories of Dad on the sidelines watching my soccer games. And he wasn't a big cheerer. He was dead silent, actually, and unless there was a really bad call, and then he'd "Come on, ref!" But this one game, I got so angry with this other team, especially the goalie, who I thought was being a jerk. Next opportunity I got, I rammed right into her and totally knocked her over and got a yellow card. My dad, he didn't talk a whole lot, but on that particular occasion, he said, Aaron, I think you saw the eye of the tiger.
I have two distinct memories, both of them from when I was playing soccer. Just during the game, he saw me that I was really tired, and I must have been showing it. Like, I remember he took me aside, I think it was at halftime, and he said, "Don't let people see that you're tired. Even if you're feeling it, don't let other people see it." And I remember just responding like, I can't help it. I'm tired. And he said, "That's your body talking. Your mind is in control, not your body." I think that was kind of the beginning of where I started to understand mental strength, and that I could do hard things even though my body or outside influences were telling me no, I couldn't. During a game, I got into a tiff with an opposing player on the other team, and we actually both ended up getting sent off the field, and I was so angry in that moment that when I got off the field, I ripped off my jersey and I threw it and kind of made a scene. After the game, my dad took me aside, and instead of belittling me or speaking to me out of anger, he spoke to me very calmly and said, "I understand completely why you felt the way you did, but how you acted was totally inappropriate."
When I was about 15 years old, I remember my father trying to push me in soccer to kind of take things to the next level. I had played with some good competitive teams, but he took me to try out for a team that was going into the Premier League, which was the top league in Southern California, very competitive. And I remember he drove me out there for a tryout. And I remember when we pulled up, sitting in the car and looking out the window at all the boys running around and being scared out of my mind. And he just encouraged me and said, "You belong there and you can do it." And that was a big moment in my life. It turned out to be a good story. I ended up making the team, but that first year was a really sacred time because I was only 15. And practices were in Arcadia, so it's about a 15-minute drive, not too far, but it was one-on-one time that I got with my dad. And I was old enough to really respect him and listen to what he had to say, but I loved those drives with him to practice and back.
I felt like I was just one of the many overachievers. There were lots of us that got really good grades, and actually my dad would have goal setting sessions with us. We would set goals to get straight A's, and
I just thought it was normal that everyone's dads gave them little checks every year where we would plan our 1 year and our 5 year and our 10-year goals.
He took time not only during those annual interviews, but also during any time he was transporting us to or from soccer games or any sporting event to talk to us. It was really therapy for me, especially after losing a game where I would pretty much take on all of the loss on myself. I knew if I had done something differently, there would be a totally different outcome. He helped to talk me through it, and we would come to terms with difficulties in life.
And he would also come to not only my soccer games, but my soccer practices when he could. And he would give me criticism and praise where it was warranted and help coach me along the way. I thought that was what dads did. When I got out on my own, I found out, some dads don't do those things. Some moms just roll out of bed and you have cold cereal. So I thought it was totally normal to just wake up and have my mom at 6 a.m. in her workout clothes, her spandex, and cooking oatmeal and singing in the kitchen. That was every day for us growing up.
During my junior year of high school, I went to a performing arts school in Orange County. And since my dad works in Tustin, he would drive me there. We had 2+ hours together every day. If I wasn't sleeping, then we would listen to Zig Ziglar, the scriptures, or my favorite was just talking. Something that I remember he would always say is, are you going to be a wandering generality or a meaningful specific?
I didn't realize that there was such a high standard about what it meant to be a Whitworth until I was riding with a family friend on a road trip to Utah, and she actually asked me that question. Like, oh gosh, what was it like being a Whitworth? I was like, well, it was really fun.
My mom would kind of joke and tease my dad a little bit. She'd be like, don't you snarl with me. I remember coming home once and crying, and my dad was in his home office, and I thought I got a B in a class, and at that point I knew I wasn't gonna get valedictorian, because at the time you just had to get straight A's to get valedictorian. And he said, you know, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. And at that point I just realized, you know what, I'm really grateful that he said that, because I knew that he loved me no matter what grade I got, and I had thought that my worth was based on that, but at that moment I knew that it really wasn't.
It was kind of like a, if you can, then why not try sort of deal. So everyone needed to play the piano, everyone needed to choose a sport, most did soccer, you know.
So growing up in my family of 10 kids, plus mom and dad were a dozen, right? I never knew any different. And I still think it's just very normal. My mom was the only mom, so there are no other women. It's just my mom and dad, and she had every single one. They say, oh my gosh, your mom is either a saint or a superwoman, or how did she do that?
To that point, I think my mom has made motherhood look really easy and really fun, and we joke that she's done us a disservice because a lot of us sisters don't find it really easy and fun and as easy as she made it look.
I definitely feel like my mom made it look so easy, and it's so much harder. I don't know how my mom did it. She has a gift with relating to people, just all different kinds of people. I remember growing up, she would be talking to someone in the grocery store line, and she would kind of learn their whole story, and the lady at the cashier would be sobbing, and just my mom would be there empathizing with them. And
I inherited my mother's willingness to do things that are against the social norm. She does really weird things, like going and talking to people in the supermarket and chatting with them. I remember lots of memories on road trips where mom would get out at the gas station and she would do kind of yoga stretches accompanied by sounds.
So my mother is one of a kind. She has a nickname for all of her children. And I don't know where she got them or how she invented them, but my nickname was Ya Beep.
my nickname is Peaches, or Molly Peach, or just Molly.
Sabi Chica Mama.
It's Kokomo.
Scooter. Everyone else when I was younger called me Lizard.
Britt the Wit.
Chunky Monkey.
It's Tori.
People just call me Wit.
I loved growing up in a big family. I always felt like I had a built-in friend system. My best friends were my siblings and also my worst enemies, but you know, I think that comes along with the territory.
You share everything. So if someone has a piece of pie, it's I'm gonna take a few bites and then here you have some. Which I didn't find out was weird until I married my wife.
I feel like we had a magical childhood. We just had this big old yard with fruit trees and eucalyptus trees that they let us hang ropes from and build forts in. that's amazing to me. So every time I get that helicopter parent urge, I think of how much free reign we had